My mother had lupus and my daughter has lupus. As a daughter, watching my mother struggle with lupus was very life-changing, partly because my mother had lupus long before she was diagnosed. So she was sick off and on most of my life and with no explanation, and then she was diagnosed when she was 39 and died 9 months later, and those 9 months were very difficult. My parents were divorced and my brother never really acknowledged that my mother was sick, and so it was pretty much put on my shoulders. I took care of her. I quit my job. I put college on hold. I drank a lot to cope with it. It was very difficult. It was very lonely. I was 19 and didn't know how to deal with it, honestly. My daughter, in retrospect, had symptoms all her life, since she was probably 5. Random headaches and migraines and chest pains and things that doctors could never explain or understand. But her actual lupus diagnosis wasn't until she was 19. Between the year of 18 and 19, she started losing her hair, and her hands would ache and random things, and I still didn't put it together, even though my mother, died from lupus. I still didn't put it together until she had a false positive syphilis test. And I Googled false positive syphilis test, and the very first thing that came up was lupus, and I knew, and it all just kind of came crashing down because I knew at that moment that that's what it was.
Before I got sick with lupus, I would go outside and I would always be at the pool, and I loved the beach, and I would sit in the sun all day. And I used to love to rock climb. I would go out and be in the sun too and be really active, and I was really good at it and fit and athletic. Definitely not that way anymore. I have to stay out of the sun. And even in high school, I was in track, and I would be out in the sun in Arizona. But then I would say my senior year, I started being less active.
And I was just tired all the time, and just achy and tired, and I'd have to take naps as soon as I got home from high school. I went to the doctor because of the false positive syphilis test, and then I found out I had a positive ANA, and then that's when I realized I was actually sick. Knowing my grandma passed away from lupus is kind of scary, especially since she passed away at such a young age. But also a big part of it, of me, wishes she was still around, because she knows everything I'm going through, and it would have been so nice to talk to her.
It's heartbreaking, basically. She's in pain most of the time, and seeing her struggle with day-to-day tasks and will basically have her youth stolen from her. A lot of our life revolves around her lupus and doctor's appointments and whether or not, she feels good or not, and how long is it going to be before we have to go home because she's tired, or, basically changes everything.
Lupus has definitely changed my family dynamics, for good and bad, I would say. It's definitely brought a lot of my family closer.
But as far as family went, I think, those who understand are here, and they support her on a daily basis, and they get it. The ones who don't come around very often anymore, or they don't want to talk about it. I think it's hugely important that you have a support system, because, again, with my mother, she didn't have that. Nobody even knew that's what was wrong with her until 9 months before she died. So her entire life struggling with, this thing that was happening to her that nobody understood, alone, and Tiana doesn't have that. So, when she is down or she is sick, she has that support system, and I think that's everything. I think that's the most important thing.
She has a lot of endurance to have gone through what she went through with her mom, and then to have to go through it again with me, her daughter, has to take a lot of endurance, many years of having to see your loved ones suffer, which I couldn't imagine how hard that would be.
She fights every day for her life and her happiness, and I couldn't be more proud of the woman that she's become, and the obstacles she's overcome, and she's just an amazing person.